My daughters hid the fact that my wife was cheating on me for a year. For nearly 3 decades, I believed I had the kind of life most would envy. I married young, at 22, to a woman named Lorraine. She was 20 then, full of dreams and determination. We started with nothing, but together, we built a life from scratch. We raised 2 daughters, Clara and June, who became the center of our world. Clara, our eldest, now 26, has always been the ambitious one. She graduated top of her class in both high school and college and is set to marry her longtime boyfriend this fall. June, 24, is our free spirit, always cheerful and close to me since she was little. I believed our family bond was unbreakable. Lorraine and I had what I thought was a solid marriage. We faced our share of challenges, financial struggles, health scares, occasional disagreements. But through it all, we stood by each other. I envisioned us growing old together, reminiscing about our journey. That illusion shattered on an ordinary weekday. Lorraine mentioned she was going out for dinner with Clara and June, a regular occurrence they called their girls' dinner. I always appreciated their closeness, it felt like a testament to the family we had nurtured. As she prepared upstairs, I sat in the kitchen, sipping coffee and browsing the news on my phone. Her phone buzzed on the counter, a common event, especially when coordinating plans. Without much thought, I picked it up. What I saw next changed everything. A message from an unsaved number read, "Can't wait to see you tonight." Confused, I delved deeper into the conversation. The messages were from her boss, and their tone was unmistakably affectionate. Flirty exchanges, expressions of longing, it was clear this wasn't a professional relationship. My heart pounded as I tried to process the betrayal. When Lorraine came downstairs, dressed elegantly and smiling, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "Don't wait up, okay?" I managed a week, have fun with the girls, masking the turmoil inside. Once she left, I activated location sharing on her phone, a step I never imagined taking. I needed to know the truth. When her location updated, she wasn't heading to their usual restaurant but to a different place we had frequented as a family. I texted Clara and June, asking, "What time are you meeting Mom for dinner?" Both replied promptly, confirming plans for 7 p.m. They were lying. My daughters were complicit in this deception. I drove to the restaurant and saw Lorraine with her boss, holding hands and laughing. I took a photo, not out of spite, but to confirm the painful reality. I sent the image to our family group chat with the caption, "Glad you're enjoying girls' dinner." Then, I turned off my phone and drove to my brother's house, seeking refuge from the storm that had engulfed my life. I didn't sleep much that night. My brother, Calvin, didn't press for details, sensing I wasn't ready. He offered me a place to stay as long as I needed. I lay on his couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment I saw Lorraine and her boss through that restaurant window, the way she smiled, the way he reached for her hand. It wasn't just the act that crushed me, but the ease with which she did it. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. Dozens of missed calls and messages poured in, mostly from Lorraine. Then from Clara. Then June. I couldn't read them all, not right away. I skimmed. Lorraine's messages were predictable, "Please call me. I can explain. It's not what you think." June's messages were a flood of apologies. "Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have told you. Please talk to me." Her boyfriend, Julian, even texted, "Sir, June's a wreck. She's really scared she's lost you." Clara, on the other hand, sent only a single message, "You're blowing this out of proportion. Don't make a decision you'll regret." Those words cut deeper than any lie. I ignored them all. The silence helped me think. I needed to process things before I could speak with anyone. That afternoon, I sent a message to June, "I love you, but what you've done hurt me deeply. I need space." She responded instantly, "I understand. I'll wait. I love you, Dad." Then I messaged Clara, "This isn't a mistake. It's betrayal. Please don't contact me until I'm ready." There was no reply from her. Soon after, Lorraine started texting again, "Don't blame the girls. They were trying to protect me. They didn't want to hurt you." I didn't respond. I wasn't interested in justifications. That night, I told Calvin everything. I showed him the texts, the photo, and explained what Clara and June had said. He was silent for a long time before shaking his head. "You don't owe them anything," he said firmly. "If they can't respect you, they don't deserve your trust." His words echoed in my mind as I tried to figure out my next steps. Could I ever rebuild trust with my daughters? Could I ever feel like their father again, rather than the man they chose to deceive? I knew Lorraine and I were finished. There was no saving our marriage. I didn't even want to try. But the damage extended far beyond our relationship. It tainted everything: my sense of family, my memories, my identity. The next morning, I decided I had to act. I started with my finances. I separated our accounts, moved savings into a personal fund, and met with a financial advisor. I needed to protect what I had left, especially with divorce on the horizon. As I reviewed our finances, I realized just how much I'd been investing in Clara's wedding, an event that now felt like a mockery. Tens of thousands of dollars gone, spent on someone who looked me in the eye and lied. I felt physically sick. I made a note to speak with a lawyer about it. Maybe I couldn't reclaim the money, but I wasn't going to spend another dollar on a daughter who treated me like a footnote in her loyalty to her mother. That afternoon, I began meeting with attorneys. I told my story to 3 different professionals, each time painful, each time numbing. In the end, I chose a woman named Gwen Harrell. She was calm, sharp, and didn't flinch at anything I told her. "I want this done quickly and fairly," I said. "But I also want to make sure she doesn't walk away with anything she hasn't earned." Gwen nodded. "I'll make sure of that." That night, in the quiet of Calvin's guest room, I opened my notebook and started to write. Not a letter, but a list. Of all the things I needed to say to Lorraine. Of all the things I had to ask. Writing helped clear the fog in my head. Still, the thought of confronting Lorraine directly filled me with unease. Not because I was afraid of her, but because I was afraid of how I might respond. I didn't want to explode. I wanted to stay composed. To remind myself that I was reclaiming my dignity, not just venting my pain. As for Clara and June, I couldn't yet imagine how to speak to them. June's apologies seemed genuine. Clara's indifference, however, felt irredeemable. But I made up my mind: I wouldn't go chasing after either of them. If they wanted to repair our relationship, the effort had to come from them. I had given everything: my time, my love, my loyalty. And now, I was done giving. It was their turn to show whether there was anything left worth salvaging. I was no longer a man caught in a storm. I was starting to find my way out. After 2 sleepless nights and dozens of unanswered messages, I finally texted Lorraine. "We need to talk. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. At the house." Her reply came almost immediately. "I'll be there. Please, just let me explain." Explain what? I thought. Was there anything left to explain? I didn't answer. The next morning, I arrived early. The house felt strange, like walking into someone else's life. It was quiet, clean, and hollow. I stared at the living room furniture we picked out together. The family photos on the hallway wall mocked me with their frozen smiles and perfect poses. This place once felt sacred. Now it felt staged. At exactly 10 o'clock, Lorraine arrived. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were puffy, her makeup barely hiding the toll of the past few days. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring. She stood near the door, hesitant. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, her voice unsteady. "Don't thank me," I replied. "And don't expect this to be easy." We sat across from each other at the dining room table, once the heart of our family. She began to talk, quickly, like she had rehearsed. "It wasn't serious," she said. "I never planned for it to happen. It was a mistake. I was lonely, confused." "Stop," I interrupted. "I'm not here for excuses. I want the truth." She blinked. "What truth? How long has this been going on?" She swallowed. "A few months." "Try again." Her voice dropped. "Nearly a year." I stared at her, trying to steady my breathing. "And the girls?" I asked. "When did they find out?" She looked away. "I told them, 2 months ago. I didn't want to drag them into it." "But you did," I said flatly. "You made them lie to me." She burst into tears. I didn't know what else to do. I was scared. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. "You were scared?" My voice cracked. "You blew up our entire family because you were scared? You didn't come to me. You didn't ask for help. You didn't try to fix anything. You snuck around, then pulled our daughters into your lie." She sobbed harder. I was unhappy. "So you destroyed everything?" I said. "You didn't just break your vows, you fractured every connection in this family." She didn't answer. Her tears kept coming, but I didn't feel sympathy. "Not anymore. I'm filing for divorce," I said, standing. "My lawyer will be in touch." "No, please. We can work through this. Don't throw everything away." I'm not throwing anything away. You already did. I walked to the hallway. Just before leaving, I turned to her one last time. And tell Clara she can ask someone else to fund her wedding. I won't be paying another cent. I slammed the door behind me. Outside, I sat in my car for several minutes, staring at the steering wheel. Then I looked at the family portrait hung beside the front door, me, Lorraine, Clara, and June, standing together at the beach. I remembered that day. The laughter, the wind, the warmth. I walked back in, grabbed the photo off the wall, and smashed it against the hardwood floor. Glass scattered. A shard sliced my palm, but I barely noticed. The confrontation was over. But the aftershocks were just beginning. The next day, I asked to meet with June at a quiet public park. She arrived visibly shaken. Her eyes were red, and her hands trembled as she clutched a tissue. We sat on a bench, silence stretching between us. "Dad, I didn't know what to do," she began. When she told me, I was angry. I told her it was wrong. But she begged me not to say anything. She said she'd end it. And you believed her? I wanted to, she whispered. I hoped she would stop before it got worse. But you still lied to me. She looked down. Yes. June, I raised you to be honest. I trusted you. And you helped her hide the one thing that could destroy our family. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't do it to hurt you. I was trying to keep things from falling apart. By holding them together with lies? She buried her face in her hands. I know. I was wrong. I'll do anything to make this right, Dad. Anything. I believed her, but belief wasn't the same as trust. I need time, I said. You hurt me. Even if you didn't mean to. And I don't know how long it'll take to rebuild what we lost. She nodded through her tears. The next day, I met Clara at a small cafe. She arrived late, immaculate as ever. Not a tear in sight. Thanks for coming, she said flatly. I didn't respond. I just asked. Why didn't you tell me about your mother? She rolled her eyes. Because it wasn't my place. It was between you two. You lied to me, Clara. I didn't want to take sides, she said. You and Mom needed to figure this out. I stayed out of it. No, you didn't, I said. You covered for her. That's not neutrality. That's complicity. Don't be dramatic, Dad. People make mistakes. That doesn't mean you cut your family off. This wasn't a mistake. This was betrayal. You're acting like a victim, she snapped. And now you're punishing everyone around you. Overreacting won't fix anything. I stood. You're right. It won't. But walking away might. She stared at me, incredulous. So that's it? You're just going to disown us? I don't know yet. But right now, I don't trust you. And if you can't understand that, then maybe you don't really know me at all. I left her sitting there. That night, I sat in Calvin's guest room once again, reflecting on the two conversations that had left me more hollow than hopeful. June had cried. She had apologized. She owned her mistake. A part of me still saw the little girl who used to tug on my sleeve for comfort. But trust, real trust, couldn't be rebuilt overnight. Clara? Her words were like stone. There was no remorse, no understanding, just deflection and defense. She had chosen her stance, and I was done trying to change her mind. The next morning, I called Gwen, my lawyer. I want to revise my will, I said. Understood. How would you like to proceed? Remove both of my daughters as beneficiaries. Everything should go to my sister and her children. She paused for a moment, likely surprised, but said, We can finalize the paperwork this week. And just like that, the final thread began to unravel. When I told Calvin, he didn't flinch. You're doing the right thing, he said. This is about protecting your peace now. The fallout began almost immediately. June called me crying the next evening. Dad, please, don't cut us out of your life. I don't care about the money. I care about you. I just want to fix this. I nearly caved. But I remembered something my father once told me: sometimes the hardest thing a man has to do is protect his heart from the people who should have guarded it. June, I said softly, I will always love you. That won't change. But love doesn't mean I can pretend this never happened. I need space. Maybe one day we can rebuild, but not now. She cried, but she understood. And then she hung up. Clara, true to form, took another route. She sent me a long, condescending email. She accused me of being punitive. Of ruining her wedding over a private mistake between two people. She said she had been trying to keep peace and I had twisted everything into punishment. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't have things to say, but because it wasn't worth the energy. Lorraine sent a message too. Carefully worded. Too carefully. Please reconsider the will. The girls don't deserve to be punished for something I did. This will tear the family apart permanently. No apology. No real remorse. Just damage control. Again, I said nothing. The quiet that followed was not peace, but it was clarity. For the first time in weeks, I could think without drowning in emotion. I focused on moving forward. I took long walks. I read. I started writing again. My brother and I talked more than we had in years. I began reconnecting with my niece and nephew, young adults with kind hearts, who had never asked me for anything but time. A month passed. I learned from mutual friends that Clara had to scale down the wedding. Her fiancé's family had stepped in to help with costs. I didn't feel guilt. Not because I was bitter, but because I had stopped trying to solve problems for people who didn't respect me. June wrote me a letter, not a text or an email, but a handwritten letter. She poured out her regret, her shame, her sadness. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She only asked for the chance to earn it someday. That letter is still in my desk drawer. I haven't replied. But I didn't throw it away either. I think there's still hope for June. Clara? I'm not so sure. And Lorraine, well, the divorce is proceeding. Gwen tells me everything is going as expected. Lorraine won't walk away with much. I no longer think about what she's doing or who she's with. Whatever love I once had for her turned to dust in the shadow of her choices. Do I miss the family I thought I had? Sometimes. But I remind myself, it wasn't real. What's real is the quiet, the space, the ability to breathe again without the weight of betrayal on my chest. I am not bitter. I'm not angry anymore. But I am cautious. I've learned that trust is sacred, and once broken, it's not easily restored. Sometimes I still stare at those broken photo frames. The images are the same, but the meaning is gone. And that's okay. Because now, at last, I am free. Thank you for watching the video. Like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.